one, the only...
Well, here I am again with a chance for each of our couples to win up to $10,000. And if any of them say the secret word, they'll win an extra $100. This is the word right here. Oh, the duck is getting smaller on it. Okay, duck out of here. George, who's first?
Well, Frankie McCauley is waiting to talk to you, Groucho. And our partner is a special guest, one that I think you'll find quite interesting. He's Chief Nino Cochise of the Apache tribe. So, folks, you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word, and you each get an extra $50. It's a common word, something you see every day. Chief, I'm glad to meet you.
And you.
You're not the chief that runs from here to Chicago in 39 hours. Huh? And you're Pocahontas?
Frankie McCauley.
Frankie McCauley. Well, you're a very attractive girl, and I'm very happy that you're here. You're a very famous fellow, Chief. Haven't you got your own show on TV?
Well, that's my grandfather, actually. They're portraying his exploits from about 1864 to 1878.
Well, what was your grandfather famous for, Chief? Did he manufacture the Indian motorcycle?
No, but he almost chased the white man out of Arizona, though.
You speak very good English for a foreigner. And I find that rather unusual. I thought all Indians just said, how?
Well, most white men are surprised when they find an Indian that has good command of English, but fortunately, I majored in English in Carlisle University and also in the University of Washington State.
Oh. Your name is...
Frankie McCauley.
Frankie McCauley, huh? Are you related to the historian who wrote the famous...
My husband is.
Is related to him?
Yes.
Oh, is that so? Are you related to Rose McCauley, who wrote Told by an Idiot?
No.
It's really my biography, but... What is your hometown, Frankie?
I was born in Pensacola, Florida, but my father's been in the Navy for practically all of his life, and we moved all over the place, and I don't really have a hometown.
You just kept moving?
Yes.
Well, my family, we had to keep moving, too. We never had the rent. Is your father still in the Navy?
Yes, he's is Admiral R.S. Clark, and he's stationed in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Oh, your father's an admiral in the Texas Navy, eh? Hey, he's a very important fellow. Texas has the third largest Navy in the United States. Are you married, Frankie?
Yes, and strangely enough, I married a man named Johnny.
Oh, well, what's so strange about that?
Well,
Frankie and
yeah.
Johnny, you mean? Well, how did you meet Johnny? Coming out of the Malamute Saloon?
No, I met him at a girlfriend's house, and and I was fascinated because he said he hated girls, and well, it's sort of, I guess it's like reverse psychology. And,
I see.
You know, when a boy kisses a girl, and she says stop, usually she means stop it, I love it, and it was sort of like that.
You mean when a girl says stop, she really means don't stop? Boy, the nights I've wasted. I was always so gullible. Chief, how old are you?
73.
Really? 73 years old. You've hardly got a gray hair in your head. Are you chief of all the Apaches?
I'm chief of the Chiricahua tribe and representative to the other 4 tribes.
What are your duties as a chief?
Well, I usually put all my duties off onto the sub-chief.
How long have you been chief?
Well, ever since I was 16 years old.
67 years you've been chief?
My father and I went back to Washington. He died back there. And I rode all the way back to Arizona, horseback, and became chief.
You mean when you were a young buck, you traveled all the way from Washington to Arizona on horseback?
That's right.
You couldn't do it today, Chief. A buck today doesn't go nearly as far as it used to. Well, how are your people getting along? I imagine you have problems on the reservation, just as we have in L.A. Do you have any particular worries, Chief? Or you have... What is your chief worry, Chief?
I have one worry in particular. My worry is that right at present I'm trying to get a bill up that I might be able to get some redress on lands that were taken from the Apache during the wars, which we feel belong to us.
Well, I'm no expert on these matters, but I would certainly think your people deserve a better break than they've received. An Indian chief must lead an unusual life. Could you give us a rundown on some of the highlights of your career?
Well, right now I'm writing a book on my past experiences, which will be called Echoes of the Past. And I remember the time that I was with Bill Cody's Wild West show. We toured Europe at that time. I was a sharpshooter on that show. We went broke in Paris, just about the time of World War I. Well, being broke and no place to go, I figured out it was the best thing for me to do was to join the Lafayette Escadrille as a pilot, which I did.
You, the grandson of Cochise, flew a fighter plane in World War I?
That's
I
right.
bet those German pilots were surprised when they saw arrows coming into their cockpit. Well, have you done much flying since World War I?
Well, I flew 68 missions in a B-17 bomber in World War II.
You say you were a bomber pilot during World War II. Weren't you pretty old by that time? How old did you tell him you were?
Well, I told him I was 45.
Why'd you tell him that? Why didn't you tell him the truth, that you were around 30?
Well, I told him I was 45 because the truth was I was 60.
Is this really true?
This is true.
Chief, you're an amazing man, and if the government doesn't buy Arizona from you, I'll have Frankie's father drag out the whole Texas Navy the first thing in the morning. Put it there, Chief.
Is that a promise?
That's a promise, yes. Well, you're an interesting couple, and I suggest you get together now and make heap big medicine because you're going to get a crack at a lot of money. Now, remember your partner, so one answer between you. Now, from our list of 137 categories, you have chosen Mother Goose rhymes. I'm going to ask you some questions. If you miss 2 in a row, you're out. If you get 4 in a row right, you win $1,000. Who was the boy who kissed the girls and made them cry?
What's his name?
Georgie.
Georgie Porgy.
It sure was. Georgie Porgy.
You have 1 right, 3 more right, you'll have $1,000.
This is Georgie Porgy right here. Oh, are you ready? Who stole a pig and away he run?
You know. Stole the pig and away he ran. Dan, no, Tom, little Johnny,
Little Tommy. Little Tommy.
Tucker?
No, not Tommy.
No.
Well, it was Tom the piper's son, stole a pig and away he ran. You were flirting with it.
You now have 1 wrong. Don't get the next one wrong or the game is over.
All right. And who was the man who couldn't eat fat?
Jack Sprat, huh? Agree? Jack Sprat?
Jack Sprat?
You're back on the right track. You have 1 right now.
Sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of what?
Rye? Would you say rye?
Right.
Rye.
4 and 20 blackbirds baked in the pie. That's
And you
right.
have 2 right now.
What did Peter Piper pick?
A pecker, pickle, pepper.
That's right. A
Pepper,
peck of pickled pepper.
3 right, 1 more right, and you'll have $1,000.
What is the next line after hark, hark, the dogs do bark?
Park? Something in the park?
Dog too bark. It's getting
It's getting...
dark. In the dark.
No, that couldn't be right.
Hark, hark, the dogs do bark.
Oh.
Well, it's the beggars are coming to town.
Well, that doesn't rhyme.
Hark, hark, the dogs do bark. The beggars are coming to town. Some in rags and some in tags and something, and some in gingham gowns.
Don't get the next one wrong or the game is over.
All right, bye, baby bunting. Where's Daddy gone?
Hunting.
Hunting. He knew that because he was an Indian.
Well, you're back on the right track with 1 right.
In Mother Goose language, what are little boys made of?
Oh, snail.
Snails and puppy dogs' tails.
That's close enough, yeah.
2 right.
Where was Simple Simon headed when he met the pieman?
Was he going to the fair?
Mm-hmm.
Simple Simon going to the fair.
Yeah, some in rags and some in tags and some in velvet gowns.
Get the next one right, and you'll have your $1,000.
We're Here again.
In 1-2, buckle my shoe, what's the rhyme for 5-6?
Pick up sticks.
Pick up sticks is right. The beggars are coming to town.
And you just picked up $1,000. You got 4 in a row correct.
Well, you've won 1,000 clams. You can keep it and quit, or else you can come back later and try to double your money. You may even get a chance at 10,000. So go home and sit down and think about it. If we don't see you later, thanks for being on the show. How?
Groucho, we have Jen Jackson and Larry Bomer waiting to talk to you, so folks, you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to your best your life. Say the secret word and you each get an extra $50. It's a common word, something you'll see every day. Joe Jackson and Larry Boner, eh?
Joe?
Oh, Jen. Jen, since there's more of you than there is of your partner, I'll start with you. Now, where are you from, Jenny?
I was born in Los Angeles, California.
How long ago was this when you first descended on L.A.?
32 years.
32 years. How'd you get the name Jen? Is that short for Jennifer or General or Jenny or what?
No, actually, one of my husbands gave it to me. It's sort of a nickname for something I don't know.
You say you got this name from one of your husbands? How many have you had?
5.
Mr. Bomer, if I were you, I'd beat it out of here while you're still single. You ought to beat it out of here even if you're married. 5 husbands. Well, give us a rundown on this male harem you've corralled. For example, tell us about number 1. Do you remember him, or don't you have total recall?
Oh, yes, I remember him. I was in high school, and he was a college man, and...
College man, and you were in high school?
Sure, he was a college man. None of the high school boys would handle me, so I married him.
How long did this idyllic marriage last?
Well, only 3 weeks. I'm sorry to say.
3 weeks? What happened?
No, well, money and strapping around and things.
Wait a minute. Who said the secret? All right,
How do
Doc.
you do?
You little angel.
This is a duck.
Now, hear this. Anything that comes down here is, to me, is a duck. Now, you said the secret word, which is, I don't remember. What was it? What was the secret
I don't know, but give me the money.
Money. Money was the secret
money.
word. So you get $50, and you get 50.
Well,
Thank you,
sir.
thank you.
And thank you.
See, I told you to stick with me.
This guy's a gone goose, and he doesn't know it. He's number 6, without a doubt. Now, Jan, do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
No, go ahead.
How much do you tip the beam at?
You mean how much do I weigh?
That's precisely.
About 120. No, actually, to tell you the truth, I really don't know because the scales only go to 300. You know.
Well, would you go any further if you were a scale? What are your dimensions?
Well, I'm 6 foot tall. 54, 40, 54.
That'll get down in history along with 54, 40, or fight. Well, let's get on with this story, which is titled Along the Amazon with 5 Husbands. How about number 5? What happened to him?
No, it's still happening to him. I've got him. I've still got him.
Oh, well, how do you feel about him? You like him?
He's a husband to end all husbands. He's a real jewel. I mean, he's...
You're the wife
terrific.
to end all husbands, too. Jenny, I'll get back to you and the 5th Symphony in a few moments. Now, your name is Larry Bomer.
Bomer, yes, sir.
Bomer, huh? How many times have you been married?
Just once.
Once. Where are you from, Larry?
Originally from Wichita Falls, Texas.
Have you ever been back to Texas since you fled from there?
About 28 times.
28 times?
Yes.
What is this lure that the Lone Star State has for you?
Well, most of them have been made while I was a rodeo rider.
Oh, you were a rodeo rider?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Are you still a rodeo rider?
No, sir. A couple of years ago, I bucked off a bull at it here, and so I quit.
A bull through you?
And yes, sir, a bull threw me.
A bull through a Texan?
Look at me, I'm a heifer.
What kind of work do you do now, Larry?
I'm a baker.
A A baker?
Yes,
Used to
sir.
be a bronc buster, and now you're a baker.
Yes, sir.
How did you meet your wife, Larry? As a baker or as a bronco buster?
Well, actually, I met my wife's horse first.
You met the horse face?
Yes, sir. A little Palomino filly, big brown eyes, beautiful conformation, and ooh, them real trim legs.
I don't know why you didn't marry the horse the way you did. Very few wives can come up to those specifications. Jenny, I forgot to ask you, what does your husband do?
Well, he's my manager. I'm a singer and a comedian and...
Oh, you're a singer.
And, of sorts.
Is he a good manager?
Good. He's the best manager I ever had. He handles my publicity and bookings and everything.
Well, he sounds like he's doing a great job for you.
He really is.
Where are you working now, Jenny?
Well, I'm not working right now.
Well, there goes number 5. Coach, warm up number 6 in the bullpen. Why aren't you working?
I'm resting.
Oh, I see.
I'm building myself up.
Don't you think you could stop soon? Where have you done most of your singing, Jenny?
Well, actually over in Europe, all through
that's
Europe.
Why we don't know you here, huh?
And the English music halls. I became top of the bill over there.
Well, would you like to cut loose with a song now?
All right. I don't care. With music, yeah.
What do you sing? What kind of stuff?
Oh, well, I sing all kind of things, but
I mean, what would you
the rage
prefer?
over there now is rock and roll. It's really going, you know.
Well, I don't know how secure this platform is here.
I've heard him hammering on it before. It braced it.
What song do you want to sing?
How about Shake, Rattle, and Roll? That's going good over there now.
And what key would you
About
sing?
F?
F?
Huh?
Can you, what about going over there, Jenny?
Spread out. I'd like to have a little help, though. I'd like to have everybody clap with me. Come on, shake, rattle, and roll. Come on, shake, rattle, and roll. Come on, shake, rattle, and shake, rattle, and roll. He said, get out in that kitchen and rattle on pot too fast. He said, get out in that kitchen and rattle on pot too fast. Come on, feed me, woman, I'm a hungry man. Get out and shake, rattle, and roll. Come on, shake, rattle, and roll. Come on, shake, rattle, and roll. Come on, shake, rattle, and roll. You never knew what to say, oh, you soul.
Jenny, that was great.
You were great, too.
And
I saw you on the left side.
You did. I was trying to sneak there. The audience couldn't see me. I was in back of you. And Larry, don't look now, but I think your last batch of crackers just fell. Along with the rest of the building. Well, it was real good, Jenny. I'd like to go on talking to you two, but it's time we get down to some serious business, like winning some money. I'm going to play You Bet Your Life. And you selected facts about the 48 states from our 631 categories. Now, let's see how well you know your country. I'll ask you some questions. If you get 4 in a row right, you win $1,000, and talk it over before you answer. Did the building shake back there, Mike? You like Fenneman?
Oh, I like it.
There goes number 7. All right, here we go. In what state do you find Nantucket Summer Resort? Nantucket. What state is it in? Summer Resort. You don't know, guess.
In New York.
No, it's Massachusetts. Massachusetts.
You have one wrong. Don't get the next one wrong or the game is over.
In what state do you find Oak Ridge, famous in atomic research?
Tennessee.
Tennessee is right.
One right.
Now, which of the 48 states is known as the Cornhusker state? Talk it over.
You said Iowa, I said Iowa.
No. Well, you're both wrong. It's Nebraska.
And you're back to one wrong.
Okay.
Now, the Banks of the Wabash is which state song?
Indiana.
Indiana is right.
Oh. You have one right now.
And on what state
I'm
lies...
so glad.
Look out now.
Is there an osteopath in the audience? In what state do you find the Black Hills?
North Dakota.
North Dakota?
Black Hills of North Dakota. Yeah. Okay?
North Dakota.
No, I'm sorry. It's South Dakota.
Well, you're back to one wrong now.
Back to one
You were
wrong.
right on the border there. In what state do you find the Grand Coulee Dam?
That would be Washington.
Washington is right. How many they got?
One right now.
One right. In what state do you find the highest point of the 48?
Mount Whitney, California.
California is right. Now they got two right.
Right.
In which state would you find America's only known diamond mine?
Arkansas.
Right. How many?
Three right.
What?
Keep going.
Here we are again. What state is known as the Green Mountain State?
Vermont.
Vermont is right.
And you got four in a row.
Well, I sure did that.
Well, you won $1,000. You can keep it and quit, or else you can come back at the end of the show and try to double your money. You may even get a crack at $10,000. So go over there and sit on his lap and think about it.
All right, thank you very
And
much.
thanks for being on the show. And now, George, what's the story on the big question?
Well, our first couple, Frankie McCauley and Chief Cochise, are still trying to figure out whether they're going to risk half their earnings on a chance at the $10,000. They'll be out in a moment to tell us about it. However, in the meantime, our last couple has made their decision, and here they are, Jen Jackson and Larry Bomer. Would you come back in, please? Look out.
You won $1,000 so far. Now, if you decide to try for the $10,000 and you fail, you wind up with a total of $500. What are you going to do?
I tell you, he answered all the questions, so he doesn't care to go on.
Well,
so
then
I believe it's up to him.
That's, you have the right to do that.
No.
They don't want to go ahead. So congratulations for winning
Thank
the
you
$1,000.
very much.
And thanks for being on the show. You
God
bet your
bless
life.
you.
All right, George, bring out the next couple.
All right, Frankie McCauley and Chief Cochise. You come out, please, again.
You won $1,000 so far. If you decide to try for the 10 and you fail, you wind up with a total of $500. What are you going to do? You want to go ahead?
Yes.
What about you, Chief?
Yep.
Well, if all the Indians had been as courageous as you, I would be living in Germany. You are going for the big money. Now get together and pick a number from 1 to 10 and then spin the wheel. If any number besides the one you pick comes up, this question is worth $2,000. If your number comes up, the question is worth 10. What number do you want?
7.
7? Give it a twist. But not close enough. You took 7 and it came up 5. This question is now worth $2,000. Is that right? One answer now. In World War II, an American general was captured in the fall of Corregidor. He spent most of the war in a Japanese prison camp for $2,000. Who was this general? Talk it over. The musicians line them. All right, what's the answer?
General Wainwright.
General Jonathan Wainwright is right. That's right, you won $2,000. Now, what do you propose to do with all that swag? What are you going to do with your money?
I'm going to have 3 babies and get my...
You're going to have 3 babies, so what are you kissing him for? Anyway, congratulations, and thanks for being with us. You bet your life. I have some happy news for you tonight, George. I'm expecting a little stranger at my house. That's why I was knitting. It's true. My avocado tree has come into blossom this morning. Well, here I am again now, coming out of my winter hibernation with a chance for each of our couples to win up to $10,000. And if any of them say the secret word, our duck will come down here and pay him an extra $100. This is the word right here.
Well, Groucho, we'll meet our first couple in just a few. Groucho, we have a married couple standing by. They're Mr. and Mrs. Guy Hatfield. So, folks, go in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide an extra $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mr. Hatfield, and I presume Mrs. Hatfield. Now, Mrs. Hatfield, I'll start with you. And I may finish with you, too. Now, what is your first name?
Valentina.
Valentino? Oh, are you any relation to Rudolph?
You mean Rudolph Valentino?
No, I mean Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. Where are you from, Val?
I'm from Vladivostok, Russia.
Vladivostok. Well, where did you go when you left Vladivostok? Minks, or Pinks?
No, my parents took me to China.
China? Did you meet a fellow there by the name of George Fenneman?
Never, no, never did.
His folks come from there. Now, you're Guy Hatfield? Now, where are you from? G? Is that how you pronounce it, G?
Guy.
Guy.
Uh-huh.
Are you from Paris?
No.
Are you from Dixie?
Well, yes, I'd like to say I'm from Dixie.
Well, go ahead. Feel free to say that.
I was born at Anderson, Missouri, but when I was about 7, we went to Logan, West Virginia.
Why, didn't you like Truman?
Well, that is the headquarters for the Hatfields.
You're one of the Hatfields?
Yes, I'm one of the Hatfields.
You mean the McCoys and the Hatfields?
Yes.
Really? Are you a real, genuine Hatfield?
Yes, I'm real Hatfield.
What about, are you the genuine, real McCoy?
No, don't call me a McCoy. I'm the real Hatfield.
How did this Hatfield-McCoy rhubarb get its beginning?
Well, back before the Civil War, a McCoy hog got in the Hatfield
McCoy what?
Hog.
Oh, a hog.
Uh-huh. And the Hatfields put the hog up for damages. The McCoys had to pay for the damages it had did. And that made them angry with the Hatfields, so they insulted a Hatfield girl at a dance, and her escort took it up and shot a McCoy. So when they came after the boy, the Hatfields took it up from there.
And the McCoys, too, huh?
Yes, uh-huh.
Well, how bad did the fighting get? I mean, what were the casualties?
Well, there was about 300 Hatfields killed.
Wait a minute, 300 Hatfields killed because
And
one pig
McCoys.
got in the corn?
300 Hatfields and McCoys. And all
Which
together.
got killed the most, the Hatfields or the McCoys?
Well, they claim more McCoys.
So what did you do? Did you chalk them up on a blackboard or something? Or did you have one of those things that they have in a pool room?
It was mostly trees.
Huh?
It was mostly trees.
Trees? All right, Doc, beat it. You said mostly trees, and that's the secret word, so you get $50. And should I
Thank
give
you.
it to your wife, or do you handle the money in the family? She's answered it. She's answered already.
You got me on the spot here.
Yes, you got me on the $50. Huh?
Yes.
Well, what do you mean by trees?
Well, you
how do you-
said where did they spot them? They spot them on the trees
I
down
mean
the
they
road.
hung them?
Yes.
They were also, I thought they shot them.
Well, if they caught them, they didn't waste the
Bullets?
ammunition
I
on
think that's smart. Huh? That's very thoughtful of them, I think. And all this happened
Economical.
because the McCoy hogs got into the Hatfield corn.
them. That's
But why was that so serious? Would it have been just as bad if the hogs had got into, let's say, the lima beans?
no.
No?
You see, corn is a very
Valuable?
valuable product. As
Why is that?
well as eating it, they also drink it.
I guess down in West Virginia you can live high on the hog. Well, they do a little moonshining down there, in other words, huh?
Yes, a little.
Isn't that illegal?
Scattered. Well, it isn't if you don't get caught.
Well, that's the American way of life. Honesty is the best policy. Now, Guy, these people must be kind of stubborn to let a little thing like pigs in the corn start a major war. Are they unusually touchy?
Yes,
One time I started up the mountain, and one of these mountaineers, I imagine he had a stillback somewhere. He stopped me and said, "Where are you going there?" I said, "Well, I'm just going up the hill." And he said, "I reckon I'd turn around and go back." So I thought to myself, I reckon I'll go back. So I did.
He said, I reckon I'll turn around and go back?
No, he said, I reckon I'd go back.
Oh, he said, you better go back.
Yes, that was just a suggestion.
What did he expect you to be doing up there? Steal his liquor?
Well, he just didn't want me up close to it. He wasn't taking any chances.
He didn't trust you, in other words.
Yes.
And was there any justification for this suspicion?
None whatever. None whatever.
And did you point this out to him?
I didn't take the time. I just took his suggestion.
Well, I reckon I'll stick to Beverly Hills. We hate our neighbors just as much as you do, but unfortunately, we're very poor shots. Now, how long did this feud continue?
It lasted over a period of 80 years.
Weren't you rather foolish to stop it?
Well...
You were going along so good at the time. Why did it stop?
Well...
You run out of trees?
In about 1914, Kentucky declared war against West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to extradite the Hatfields, which the governor wouldn't let them. So they declared war on West Virginia, and the two was fighting, and the United States government sent down troops to stop it.
Mm-hmm. And they were also, the United States was also fighting with Germany at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't interested in that war, huh?
Well, we had our hands full.
Well, I think you're right. Silly to get into a foreign war when you can get in one in your own country. You people are in business for yourself down there.
Well, yes.
Rather oblivious to what's going on in the rest of the United States, huh?
Well, we tend to our own business.
And do you pay taxes?
It's just like making moonshine when we are caught.
Well, have you ever paid any tax?
Oh, yes,
definitely. Under duress, huh?
Well, it's
aren't the government
kind of painful.
Yes, huh? Well, how'd you find your way to L.A. after living in the hills of West Virginia?
Well, you won't believe this.
I believe anything you tell me, huh?
But I came into L.A. one night. It's dark. Got a hotel room. Next morning I got up and thought I'd get my car and drive around the block to get some breakfast. And I got on one of those freeways.
Yeah.
And the cars was going on both sides of me and honking. And
those were geese.
And I told my son that we was just going to have to stay where we was.
In the hotel, you mean?
No, on that freeway. Oh. Straight line. And I wound up in Capistrano.
Did you arrive with the Swallows, or were you later? Well, what happened after that?
Well, I landed in San Diego.
Yeah. And that's where you live now?
Yes.
And are you gainfully employed in San Diego?
Yes, I'm employed by...
moonshine?
No, I'm a builder.
A builder?
I've been at building practically all my life.
Mm-hmm.
I plan to build my own deluxe homes for people in the South in a short while.
Oh, you're going back south?
Mm-hmm. Southern California.
Oh, you don't miss the mountains?
Yes, I do miss
the stills and the shooting and everything and the romance?
I miss the mountains. If you've ever been in West Virginia, you have to stand in the middle of the road and look straight up to see the sky. And about the only flat place is down in the road.
Yeah. Well, we played in Wheeling. That's West Virginia.
Uh-huh.
And no act ever went flatter than we did in Wheeling, West Virginia. Now, Valentino, what do you think of the Hatfield-McCoy feud?
Oh, Groucho, this is just a little family quarrel.
Yes, that's true. How did you meet Mr. Hatfield? In the mountains?
No, some friends introduced us.
How'd you get along at first? Did you get along well?
Oh, I didn't like him. He seemed to me a little dry.
Well, he's away from that moonshine, you know. He doesn't seem dry to me. He's sort of a Will Rogers character, you know. He's pretty funny. He's a very attractive personality. You should be very happy that you snared this chap here.
I am.
Well, Val, your marriage seems slightly incongruous. Guy's a West Virginia mountain man, and you're a Russian. How are things working out? Is your marriage a success?
Oh, yes, we are very happy, Groucho.
Can you say the same thing, Guy?
Oh, yes, we're very happy together.
Well, are you happy when you're not together? Well, Guy, does Valentino have any little idiosyncrasies that you'd like to see improved?
Well, so much the time I can't understand what she's saying.
Could you give us an example of what you mean?
Well, we'll be walking down the street, and she'll come at us talking in some language. I don't even know what the language is. I'll go along for a block, and then just for general principles, I say no.
Well, don't crowd your luck, Guy. Any husband who can't understand what his wife's talking about is way ahead of the game. Well, you're a lovely couple, and you look like a very happy couple. And what language does she speak normally when you're talking together?
Well, I understand that people who can understand languages, that she speaks Russian and German and Chinese and Japanese.
You mean you don't speak any of these languages?
I don't even speak good English.
One place where you don't have to speak good English. Well, if we spoke good English up here, people would think it was one of those Sunday intellectual shows, and they'd switch to another station. Well, it's refreshing to see a married couple who get along as well as you two, and if you ever start understanding what you're saying to each other, my advice is stop talking and start ducking. Now, let's see how good you are on the quiz. Are you ready?
Well, Groucho, Valentina being a Russian and not understanding English too well, and me a hillbilly, could our children answer the questions for us?
Where are they, home?
No, the children are in the audience.
How many children have you got stashed away out there?
Two. We have a
Two?
son and a daughter.
We had a woman ask us that 5, 6 years ago, and she asked if her children could help. And I said yes, and she brought out 19 kids. And then they didn't win anything. Okay, let's see the kids. Will you, the two children stand up and come on down.
All right.
Well, how do you do? Now,
Stand back here.
what is your name?
Lilo.
Lino?
Lilo.
Lilo.
Yes.
And what's your name?
West.
West?
West, W-S.
W.S. Are you both Hatfields, or is one of you a McCoy?
No, I'm Dinkhouse.
You're a what?
Dinkhouse.
You're a Dinkhouse.
Yes.
What's a Dinkhouse?
It's my name. It's a German name.
Well, that clears it up, eh? How is it you got different names?
My mother married again. My mother married Mr. Hatfield, and
Oh, well, I think she showed very good judgment. And what name do you sail under?
I'm a Hatfield, too.
Oh. Do you know these people?
No, I don't.
I'd like to have you youngsters meet Mr. and Mrs. Hatfield. You two. All right, let's play You Bet Your Life now. And Guy, you and Val step over there and sit down. You got a chair around there?
Uh-huh.
Keep your fingers crossed. Here, over here. You got your squirrel gun ready in case they don't win any money? All right, you selected Earth, Sea, and Sky. I'm going to ask you some questions. If you miss 2 in a row, you're out. If you get 4 in a row right, you win $1,000. Now, ocean tides are affected by what heavenly body?
the moon.
I was going to say Jane Mansfield.
You now have one right.
What do you call the path of a planet?
Orbit.
Orbit is right. Huh?
You now have two right.
Planets shine by reflected light only. What do you call heavenly bodies which shine from their own lights? Planets shine by reflected light. What do you call heavenly bodies which shine from their own light?
Luminous?
No, that's called the name of the kind of body.
Star.
Star or sun.
Oh.
You now have three right. Get the next one right, and you'll have $1,000.
Which of the planets is known as the red planet?
Mars.
I was going to say Russia.
And you now have four in a row, and you win $1,000.
You always bring these kids along? You have a tough job facing you? Well, you won $1,000, and you can keep it and quit, or else you can come back later and try to double your money. You may even get a chance at $5,000 or even $10,000. So go over there and sit down and think about it, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Groucho, we have a couple of teenagers who want to meet you now. They're Levon Thram and Charles Wheeler. So folks, you in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, Wheelman, welcome to Your Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide an extra $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Levon Scram and Charles Wheeler, huh?
No, it's Thram.
Thram?
Yes.
How old are you, around 43?
18.
8?
18.
Oh, 18. I guess it's that ponytail. I thought you were Silky Sullivan. Levon, you go to school?
Yes, I do. I go to Glendale College.
College?
Yes.
What plans do you have for the future? Are you studying to be a well-known figure, like a car hop?
No, I plan on becoming a lawyer.
A lawyer? Mm-hmm. That's a worthy ambition. Why did you decide on the law? Have you been reading the life of Chief Justice Marshall?
No, a friend of my father's is a lawyer, and he's always been talking about his cases, so they've interested me, and I wanted to become one.
You say your name is, what did you say your name?
Charles Jackson Wheeler, sir.
It's a lot to handle. I'll just call you Chuck, huh? Does that have your official approval?
Well, no, Chuck sort of bugs me. Why don't you call me Jackson? It's more dignified.
Chuck sort of bugs you? You want to be dignified? Okay, Jackson. As far as I'm concerned, you're Solid Jackson. How old are you, Solid Jackson?
15, sir.
And you want to be dignified?
Yes, sir.
At the rate you're going, when you're 20, you'll be ossified. By that time, you'll be known as Stonewall Jackson. What does bugs me mean? I don't understand that.
Well, I mean like you don't dig it. You don't like it, in other words.
Where'd you go to school?
I go to Cooper High School.
What would you like to be when you get out of school, assuming that you ever will?
I think I'd like to be a doctor.
A doctor, huh? You could be a doctor, you know. You marry a girl, and then she could be well for nothing. And
That's right.
He could marry a minister, and she could be good for nothing. You know, that joke is 50 years old. And from the response I got, I suspect you all knew it, huh? What kind of a doctor do you want to be? Horse?
No, I think well, I got a lot of time now, but I think I might be interested in surgery, possibly brain surgery or something.
On a horse?
No.
Horses don't have any brains. If they had, they wouldn't run around a track and let people win money on them. They don't get anything. Are there any doctors in your family at the moment?
Well, not at the moment. My great-great-grandfather was a lawyer, big lawyer, real large, came on real strong in the Mid-East.
He was real large? What did he weigh, about 300?
No, sir.
You mean he was important?
Yes, sir.
You talk sort of beatnik, don't you? Huh? Do you dig that beatnik stuff?
No.
No. You like them?
Oh, it's very nice.
That's a very careful appraisal. It's like when you try to sell your house to somebody. The kind of reaction you get from the real estate agent. What does your father do, Jackson?
Oh, he's a television MC personality.
Oh, I didn't know there were any. I thought you had a shifty look when you came out here. What is his name, George Goebel or Pinky Lee?
No, Jackson Wheeler.
Jackson Wheeler. Oh. What kind of a show does he have?
Well, he has from 10 to 12 in the morning, Channel 11, give it the old plug.
Well, if you're going to be a horse doctor, you want an old plug.
Well, yes.
He's on every morning from 10 till 12?
Yes, sir. He used to have a late show.
Why is he on at such a peculiar hour? Is he ashamed to let people look at him?
Oh, no, it just, I don't know, it just, to each his own.
That's one of the most baffling answers I've ever heard.
Groucho, I hate to interrupt, but as you know, Mr. and Mrs. Hatfield and their children live in San Diego, and they won't be able to return next week, and since they've already qualified for a chance at the big money tonight, they'd like to try for it. Of course, if we do that, then Jackson and Levon won't have really time to play You Bet Your Life and talk to you, too, so I was wondering if maybe they could come back next week and try.
Yeah,
Sure.
Well, can you come back next week? Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. Just to make tonight's trip worthwhile, I'll ask you one question for $100. Now listen carefully.
Okay.
Who is buried in Grant's tomb?
Grant.
Right, so you each get $50 for tonight's work, and when you come back next week, you'll get a chance to play You Bet Your Life and maybe win a lot of money. So see you next week.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much, Mr.
All right, here are the Hatfields. Would you come in? This are the children, right? Wesley and Lilo?
Now, you won $1,000 so far. If you decide to try for the big money and you fail, you wind up with a total of $500. What are you going to do?
We're going to try.
You're going to go ahead, huh? Okay. Now, you pick a number.
7.
No, eight's
Eight.
the first one.
8. Put up 8 in here, George. And what is the other number you've chosen?
7.
This number comes up, you know it's worth 10,000. If the 7 comes up, it's worth 5. If neither number comes up, the question is worth 2,000. Okay? Roll it. Well, your numbers were 7 and 8, and it came up 3. So this question is worth $2,000. The Nobel Prize for Literature in 1958 was awarded to Russia's Boris Pasternak. His novel, Critical of Communism, became a bestseller. For $2,000, what is the name of this much publicized book? What is it?
I believe it's Dr. Shivago.
Well, you've won $2,000. All right, John?
Yes.
Now, what are you going to do with the swag?
We're going to put the money in the business.
In your business?
In my business, yes. Building houses.
I see. Well, you couldn't put it to a better use. Congratulations, and thanks to the entire family for being with us. You bet your life.
To add that Mrs. Marciano is the mother of the former heavyweight champion of the world, Rocky Marciano. So here they are.
Welcome, welcome. Bonjour. Bonjour. Mrs. Marciano, you're a fine-looking girl.
Thank you.
Is Rocky with you tonight?
No.
Where does he spend most of his time now that he's quit fighting?
In Florida.
In Florida, huh?
Yes.
Did you ever hear anybody say he fought a lot of stumble bums on his way to the top?
Groucho, now you're making a big mistake. My son, he fought all the good fights.
Those rumors were untrue, in
All
other words.
professional man, good man.
He didn't
and
fight a
clean
lot of-
cat fight.
He didn't fight a lot of stumble bums, huh? On the way up, I mean. He waited until he was champion, and then he fought a lot of pushovers, huh? You sure he's not hanging around here any place?
No, not what I know.
Can't take any chances at my age. You know. Now, your name is Dr. James Whitcomb Riley, is that right?
No, it's Dr. James Whitcomb Brower.
Brower, huh?
Yes, it rhymes with B-R-O-W-E-R.
Why do you have that GH in there? To make it difficult for quizmasters?
Yes.
Is that what you intended to do here tonight?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Now, how many times did you fight Marciano?
I'm sorry to say I never even met him.
Where do you come from, Doc?
I'm Old Vernon, Jennings County, Indiana. I'm a Hoosier.
You're a Hoosier?
Yes.
Did you go to college in Indiana?
No, I went to college in California. My parents moved there when I was 12 years of age, and I lived there till I was 21 and graduated from college and married my first wife, the daughter of the president.
The president of the college?
Yes.
Well, that's a good way of getting good marks, isn't it? When did you graduate?
In 1891.
Okay. You graduated in 1891?
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy. How old were you when you graduated? 3?
Make a guess.
Well, let's see now. 1891, that was 70 years ago. 70 years. How old are you, Doc?
Well, guess at that.
I'd say 72.
Thank you, thank you.
Nobody ever graduated at the age he did from college. How old? 53. Am I close?
No, I went to the seminary after that at Rochester, New York, before I began my ordained ministerial life.
Oh, you're a minister, huh?
Yes,
I thought you were a doctor.
Yes, sir.
Well, how old are you, Doc?
Well,
I mean, Reverend. Or Rabbi, or whatever it is. Padre.
It's quite evident, Groucho, that you are not acquainted with preachers.
Well, it depends on the denomination. How old are you? Did you say you were, Doc?
I was 90 on January the 7th.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. I want to shake hands with a man who's even older than I am. How about the ladies, Doc? Are you a gay bachelor, or are you in the trap?
Well, I'm in the trap.
How old is Mrs. Brower?
Well, Mrs. Brower is 69. She's 21 years younger than I am.
Well, you're a cradle snatcher, aren't you? You married a kid 20 years younger than you were.
Yes, I'd rather smell perfume than liniment.
I would too, unless I had arthritis. You sound like you're a pretty active fella, Doc. Does your wife keep up with this fast pace that you
Yes, she goes with me everywhere I go. Men's clubs,
She goes to the men's clubs with you?
Men's clubs, yes. I'm so homely, she'd rather go along than kiss me goodbye.
Doc, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever had a transfusion from Milton Berle? What kind of a minister are you? Methodist?
I've been preaching the gospel of Christ for 70 years, and I'm a Baptist preacher and the past president of the American Baptist Convention.
Oh.
So I'm just honored that any Baptist preacher can get in this country.
Well, that's wonderful. What made you decide to become a Baptist minister when you could have been an old renegade like me?
That's what I was going to tell you. My father and mother...
I'm no good, you know. No good at all.
My father and mother were very religious, and they wanted me to be a preacher. Friends wanted me to be a comedian, and perhaps if I had, I'd have preceded you.
Nobody has preceded me. Look, if you'd like, I'll switch spots with you.
And nobody would succeed you.
Well, I'm not sure of that.
But anyhow,
with the salary they pay you ministers, you better have a good sense of humor.
No, I tell you, that's the truth.
And a rich wife, huh?
I went to cash
Did you marry for money, Doc?
I went to cash a check the other day, and the banker gave me out some old money, and he said, "Are you afraid of germs?" I said, "No, no germ could live on the salary I get."
You know, I never knew that they cracked jokes like that in the Baptist church. No, I thought it was all hellfire and brimstone. Really, I did. I thought they were very serious in the Baptist church.
If it depends, if they need that, well, we give it to them.
Yeah. Well, I imagine you're a very interesting minister to listen to. And are you still preaching?
Yes,
well, I'd like to come to hear you sometime.
Preaching twice every Sunday and delivered 147 addresses between Sundays last year.
Oh, well, could you deliver one to my address? I mean, where do you do this? You're not preaching here in L.A. at all. No?
Not right here. The old Temple Philharmonic Auditorium was my former church. I was there 16 years. And that's why I got so well acquainted with all the movie people. I married Doug Fairbanks and Mary Pickford 40 years ago. And I'm sorry to say, but I buried Will Rogers when he was killed. He and I used to have humorous debates for the sake of charity.
He's an old friend of mine, too.
Yes, well, he's a great friend.
I taught him how to play the guitar, you know. Yes, I did, really.
And,
do you utilize your sense of humor in your preaching?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do.
In what way?
Well,
do you start off with, like, saying, a funny thing happened to me on my way to the church?
No, I could do that, too. For instance, now I went up to San Francisco to a banquet. And I was getting dressed in my room when a knock came on the door, and I said, "Come in." And a man walked in, all dressed in his tuxedo, and said, "I want to introduce you, doctor, and I want to know something about you, and I also will take you to the banquet room." Well, I said, "Fine and dandy." I said, "I'm just tying my bow tie." I said, "Can you tie one of these bow ties that still stands straight?" He said, "You bet I can." He came over and put his arm around me, laid me down on the bed, and tied it. I got up. I said, "Well, that's fine and dandy, but why'd you make me lie down?" Well, he said, "That's the only way I can do it. I'm an undertaker."
Well, that's certainly a holier-than-thou attitude. You got any more jokes up your sleeve, Rev?
Yes, for instance, now, you know...
You don't care if I call you Rev instead of Reverend.
Groucho, you know people enjoy jokes told on yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
They're getting so sensitive, I can't tell a joke on the Jews, I can't tell a joke on the colored people, I can't hardly tell a joke on an Irishman.
Yeah. This is true, you know, if you tell jokes about Italians or Frenchmen, every group now, it goes even further than that. If you tell a joke about a dentist, or a plumber, or a carpenter, or anybody at all. Everybody
I tell them on myself.
Yeah, that's good. You say, well, I can't tell a joke about an Irishman on myself.
But anyhow, I was, one night after I'd heard...
funny thing happened to me on my way to the synagogue this morning.
About midnight, when Miss Brown and I jumped in the car and started, when I saw a friend of mine on the sidewalk that had made the mistake of taking something into his stomach that made him see double and think half. And I said to Miss Brown, "We better take him home." So I drove up at the sidewalk, got out and took him by the arm, and he said, "Well, hello, doctor, what are you doing here?" I said, "To take you home, come on." Got him in the car, away we went, got out in front of his house, and I got him out and got him up the steps and rang the bell. And I said, "Now, Bill, I've got you home, I'll go." But he grabbed me and he said, "No, no, no, don't you go yet. You wait till my wife comes to the door. I want her to see who I've been out with tonight."
The Baptist Church is going to get a lot of converts here tonight. There's going to be a lot of water spilled around there. Doc, we ought to go into business together. You give the jokes and sermons, and I'll take up the collection. And we split 50-50. I'll keep the cash and give you the buttons.
Let me tell you one more, though.
I wish you would.
An old man who had heart trouble was home, and he bought a Irish sweepstakes ticket. And he won $50,000, but his wife and daughter were afraid to tell him, afraid he'd drop dead. So they called up the Episcopal clergyman to come, an old man, friend, to come and tell him. So he came, and they talked a few moments pleasantly, and finally he said, "John, didn't you buy a ticket for the sweepstakes?" He said, "Yes, I did." He said, "Now, supposing you should win $50,000, what would you do with it?" And the old man said, "I tell you, if I win $50,000, I'll give half of it to you." And the preacher dropped dead.
I know you're one of America's best-known ministers, and it's a real honor having you up here, and I'd appreciate it if you could put in a good word for me now and then, you know. You know, with the right crowd. Lena, let's get back. I got to talk to Lena here, you know. We've been ignoring her, Doc. You want a chair?
What?
You tired?
No.
You look great. You look like a fellow 50 years old. I never saw it.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, a young-looking 50-year-old.
Take you out for lunch and pay for it?
No, just pay for it.
Listen. Now, you wrote a book.
You bet I did. Wait a minute. You get $50 for saying the secret word.
That's good.
We're going to give you good money instead. Yeah, you see, what was the name? Did you read the book?
I went to buy it, and they were all sold out.
They were. Well, that's
And I'll tell you what I'll do. I published a book called Life and Laughter. 9 of my popular lectures, and every serious paragraph in the book is illustrated with a funny story. I'll give you a book autograph if you'll give me one of yours autographed.
I'll do it if you'll mention the name of my book.
Well, how do I? Me and Groucho.
No, it's Groucho and me.
Oh, that's
right. Lena, let's get back to you now. By the way, how much do you weigh when you weigh?
Well, I usually weigh 190.
Mm-hmm. Is that why they call you Lena?
Yes.
Well, tell us about Rocky in the early days. What was he like as a baby? Was he a big child?
Well, he was a big child, yes.
What did he weigh at the ringside?
11 pounds.
11 pounds?
Yes.
Ringside, huh?
Yes.
That's a big baby, huh?
Big baby.
When he was born, he probably slapped the doctor, didn't he? Well, was he a good boy? Did he behave? Does he mind you when he was a baby?
He was good, but there was time when he didn't mind me.
Huh?
There was time when he didn't mind me, and I spanked him.
Yeah? You
Yes.
slug him? Huh?
Sure.
Yeah. Spanked Rocky Marciano, the champion of the world, huh? I'm sure you're very proud of Rocky, Lena.
Yes, very proud.
I've been teasing you about him, but I'm aware of the fact that he has a great record.
I know.
Not only as a fighter, but as a nice guy, too.
Yes.
Now, were all his fights fixed?
No, not one fixed.
No?
It's just a good fight.
Well, it's a tough fight, Mom, but you
Yes.
won. And when you see that broken-down son of yours, give him my regards, huh?
I will.
And tell him he's lucky. His path has never crossed mine. All right. Well, let's play You Bet Your Life. Mr. Fenneman, would you bring out the question box, please?
Groucho, I prefer to...
Well, you wouldn't hit a man with the cloth, would you, huh? What are you doing here? I thought you were in Florida or out of town.
I came up to pick up my mom.
You haven't heard this conversation with your mother, have you?
I just heard one thing, something about a stumbled bum.
You know, I'm always kidding around like that. Rocky, to me, you were the immortal, the great fighter of our time. I always said when you were in your prime, you could have licked any lightweight in America.
Groucho, I think we better get on with the quiz.
Yeah, we better get on with it.
We're going to run out of time here.
Go out and get me a baseball bat, will you? How long, pardon me, how long are you going to be in town, Rocky?
About a week.
Why don't you come back here next week and we'll have a rematch?
Okay, will you be here?
Yeah. Don't worry, you don't frighten me, big boy. I'll be here next week. However, I'm not sure that I'll be here the week after. I'll take care of him the best day he ever had. You know what? Have you and Mrs. Marciano agreed on a category between you?
No, because I'm going to allow some serviceman here to come down and get the money, if he can, out of this quiz.
Well, don't you like money?
No, I don't need to. With $50, I can get home on that.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Let's see. You may have to stay up. Is there a serviceman out there who's on the lam? I mean, AWOL?
Groucho, it looks like this may take a little time, so why don't we use the time for a message from...
How do you do? My name is Groucho Marx.
Let me, Groucho.
What is your...
Barry Hollis.
You Barry Hollis?
Right.
Well, this is the Reverend Brower.
You take my place now. You'll have to be a good man.
This is Mrs. Marciano.
How you do?
Take a poke at him, Mom.
Don't you forget that book.
Well, no, I certainly won't. I'll see that you get it. Well, I'll see you before I leave here tonight.
Oh, all right.
You hang around back there. You're wonderful. Go over there. That's the kind of man that make religion worthwhile. George, what do we do about a category for these people?
Did you select a category?
What was it?
I'm supposed to.
Sports and games.
Yes.
Well, you know how to play the game, huh?
Do you know how to play?
Yes, I do.
So you want to take the first one? You have 4.
Let the lady take the first one, huh?
The $100 ones are a little easier
You know,
than
you got to get
200.
500 in order to get a chance at the big money. And I know Rocky needs his money desperately, yeah? For $100, in what game would you use knights and bishops? What? Chess is right, yeah, sure. I thought knights you would use nightgowns, but I guess you don't.
Well, you now have $100 and 3 more chances to make 5.
What should I do? Take one.
You know, you got to win 500. I don't want to influence you.
That's good. That's good pick. Because I want your son to like me.
Yeah, I like you.
In what sport or game is a score of 300 perfect? They're going to wind up married, these guys. Rocky is going to have a new father. What branch of the service are you in?
Air Force.
Air Force, huh? Well, you certainly do plenty of flying right here.
What was the answer, by the way?
Bowling. I thought 300 was pinochle and spades.
Like bowling.
Bowling, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like bowling green. All right, now you got 300. You need 5.
You have 2 more chances to make a total of 5. You have 300 now. Going to try
Get
another blue, all right? This will do it if you get it right.
Yeah,
You'll
we
have
hope.
500.
You play pinochle, Mrs. Marciano?
No,
Pedro?
no, just bingo.
Bingo. In football, how many points are awarded for a safety? Here they go again.
Try two.
She stuck on him, huh? What?
Try two.
2 is right. Yeah.
Try 2.
2 points for a safety? I thought a safety only had 1 point. I mean, if you're wearing diapers. Why didn't you quit the Air Force and run away with Mrs. Marciano? And Rocky will chase you. Yeah. If you think war is dangerous, you'll find out. Now, what is your rank? I mean, what is your rank?
Airman 3rd class.
3rd class what?
3rd class apprentice radar operator.
Oh, well, you're about as low as a man can get in the submarine. Unless you're in a submarine, huh? Well, you got 1 more chance here.
You already have your 500, if you remember.
Take it easy, Mom.
Take an easy one to be sure, huh?
Yes.
All right. Here's a $100 one.
Oh, you foxy. For $100, what is another name for ping pong? Here they go again. Watch. They'll be nuzzling in a minute, huh? If you don't know, guess.
Ball.
Ball.
No, table tennis.
Yeah. Well, it's all right, because you've already won $500, which means you'll be back in a little while to try for $2,000, $5,000, or $10,000.
Okay.
And if you see that big plug ugly again, tell him I'm laying for him.
I will.
Nice meeting you, and I'm glad you won some money up there.
Mrs. Marciano and Airman Third Class Barry Hollis won $500. So here they are with a chance for 10, 5, or 2. Would you come right back out here?
Now, Sperry Hollis, is that right?
That's right.
Now, you pick a number from 1 to 10 for $10,000. You, Sperry?
3.
3. Put up a 3. Now, you pick a number for 5,000.
7.
7. Now, if either of these numbers comes up, that's what the question is worth, the number. If any other number comes up and you win, it's worth a total of 2,000. Is that clear? Now, spin the wheel. Here it is, for a total of 2,000. During the celebrated Scopes trial in Tennessee in 1925, Clarence Darrow was the chief attorney for the defense. For a total of 2,000, who was the famous man who was chief prosecuting attorney in the Scopes trial, opposed Darrow? Talk it over. What's the answer?
We haven't got no idea.
Well, it's William Jennings Bryan, who ran 3 times for president. I'm sorry you missed it, but you still have, how much did you wind up with? 600. 600? Well, that's not too bad, a night's work, huh? Congratulations, and thanks for being with us.
Yes.
And tell that big love what I think.